Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, July 31st, I believe. Thought I'd do a quick update video. Maybe not so quick. We'll give a start on this side of the garden this time. Here's the tomato plant that doesn't get any sun. Hardly at all. I've gotten one nice tomato off of it. And looks like it's starting to put on a couple more. We've been through a lot of high temperatures, so a lot of tomatoes haven't been setting. So we have my Kellogg's breakfast here. This one's been on here for a while, ripened, and I just never got to it. A few more back there, and a couple that have set up here. So this one's actually done fairly well. These are my only productive cantaloupe vines, and they got 2 cantaloupe on them. Looks like that one's not really going to get much bigger. And there's that one. It's not a good year for my cantaloupe. Don't know if any more will set. This has been my favorite cherry tomato. I wish I knew what variety it was, because they are really good. They get a little bit bigger than the average cherry tomato, and they're very, very tasty. There's like no disease on this plant, and it just handled everything wonderfully, so happy with that one. Got another tomato plant here. This one never really got very big, but looks like it's got a nice tomato on there. Here's a paste tomato. Set a whole bunch down on the bottom here, then none really on the top. Seems kind of odd to me. Another cantaloupe vine here with no cantaloupe on it. Kind of disappointing. Big old tomato plant here. Got a bunch on there, some kind of red tomato. So tomato plants over here have done a lot better this year than I thought. This eggplant produced no eggplant, and you can chalk it up to the flea beetle just completely shredding the leaves on this thing. Normally my eggplant can fight it, but this is the only eggplant over here, so I think it just can't handle flea beetles. This was nothing but a sea of weeds last time I did a video, and I cleaned it up a lot. All that's really growing in it is the butternut squash. One there. Nice one there. The butternut squash does really well around here. This was going to be my asparagus bed, but the weeds just took over. None of the seeds really sprouted. I had one asparagus here that I transplanted, and there is one back here that did sprout, so I don't know. I'm sure 2's not enough. I may just get rid of them anyway. Butternut squash, all butternut squash through here. I'm sure these bushes detract from how well these grow, but I did get this here. Maybe next year I'll make this kind of like the lettuce area, since it doesn't need as much sun. Butternut there, butternut there. Okay, this is my part of the garden that's completely overrun by grass. I'm going to have to till this up before I cover it with leaves in the fall. Still letting the radish seeds go all the way through and harvesting them, so I have plenty of radish seeds. There's some beets growing in amongst this that are probably really no good unless I bake them. Been harvesting a lot of the carrots, but there's still a few to be harvested. My squash plant that just keeps fighting, but this soil drains too quickly, and I think the lack of water just hurts it. There's another one here. It's just not getting any bigger. I don't know. I can hope and pray. I do know if it does get started that it'll do fine, but there's probably just too many weeds over here. Okay, here's my one watermelon, who I guess Chrissy said this is more of a pollinating problem than a blossom end rot, but either way, it's done for. Just leaving it on there because why not? No other watermelon are on this vine, and this sea of weeds, it's not going to grow anymore. Okay, here's my blueberry bush, not getting any bigger. Wish I knew why this didn't grow. I put some of the acid stuff down and it just doesn't get any bigger. It just stays that size. This is a new blueberry bush. And now I need to get these weeds out of here. And somewhere over here is another blueberry bush. Oh, here it is. Looks like it didn't make it. Maybe it'll come back. Okay. Okay, here's the next part of the garden here. And this is taken over by the grass too. But it does have a cantaloupe vine with no cantaloupe on it. But it's actually taken off a little bit. A squash plant there with no squash on it. And then my healthiest squash plant of the season so far. But no squash yet. But I think it'll be coming as long as I can protect it from whatever is eating it. You got some of the leaves here eaten off. That leaf there completely eaten off. Hey, here's a couple of my volunteer plants. The snow white tomato, doing very well. These are pretty good. I didn't grow any this year, but I guess one of the seeds from last year sprouted over here. And the other type, I don't know what this is yet. Nothing's ripened yet on this one. Okay, here's another squash plant. And another cantaloupe. And my raspberries. I do have a lot of raspberry flowers starting. This was once attacked by the Japanese beetles, but those just completely disappeared. So that's a good thing. I haven't really been harvesting any. I guess it's the between harvest time. But I'm happy with those. I think come fall, I'm going to have a lot of raspberries. So that'll be nice. I have a couple canes that have started back here. They're actually getting a ton of raspberries on them too. That makes me happy. Got a nice big one there. The container tomatoes are basically shot. I'm not even really working on them anymore. So it looks like it's got a few I could harvest. Okay. And the tomato plants back here that sprouted out of nowhere. Or that guy. Not really putting a lot on. It doesn't get a whole lot of sun. Looks like back here it's a snow white on this one again. I wonder if this is part of the other ones that just grow on both sides. So we'll see what happens with those. Okay, let me take you to the other side. Okay, on this side I got a lot more going on. Had some kind of, I would guess these to be butternut squash that just sprouted up underneath the composter. I got the composters both brewing in there. Got this tomato plant back here. It's actually doing pretty well. It's got some nice tomatoes on it. I need to pick. I'll probably be doing that today. Got a jalapeno plant here. Doing pretty well, given the circumstances. You don't get a whole lot of sun back in this part of the garden, the house, whatever you want to call it. Now this one here I'm real happy with. This is a mini bell pepper plant, and it's put on a lot of bell peppers. I should probably stake this guy up, but I can't wait till these start ripening. Haven't had any yet. I believe this is another mini bell pepper, but a different variety. They don't get as big. So They'll be good just the same. Got the eggplant over here. This is my second year growing the eggplant over here, and I think it's basically drained the soil of all the nutrients. So I got about 15 of them off earlier this season. Now they're just not growing very big, and I am getting flea beetle damage over here too. These suckers, as little as they are, they do a lot of damage. If you grow eggplant, if you happen to see it, even though this one's small, it's changed from that purple color, so that one's really not even edible anymore. You really need to get them at this stage, and they're a glossy purple. Now, I should get those harvested today too. Okay, over to the main garden area. The lettuce seed has bolted, gone to seed, and is now dying off. I'm not sure I can really harvest any more seeds off of there. They've all blown away. But there still are a few of the lettuce plants. I get a handful of seeds every now and then. Really don't need them, but yeah, might as well harvest them. The butternut squash vine, which basically it starts right here, goes all the way down to the end there with that vine. Got a new vine here. Got a butternut squash on it. Goes all the way out there. It's got a nice big butternut squash here, and grew all the way to underneath that tomato plant. And it also had a vine going through here that had 3 really nice butternut squash on it. And basically just kept wrapping around. Had another vine come through here, all the way down to here. There's another butternut squash. And it ends here, and that's all one vine. I mean, that's just crazy to me that it got that big. So very happy with that one. It was really only supposed to grow up into here, fill this area up a little bit. This one, I got a little pepper plant here. That's a Rocotillo. It's got 1 pepper on it, but it's just fighting too many weeds to really be productive. Got this guy here, which I'm thinking that might be sunburn. I'm not really sure, but that's an okay pepper. This was a volunteer pepper plant. Last year's pepperoncini, which grew out of control last year. I mean, I had hundreds on this plant, and now there's like 2. But it battled the butternut squash and lost. Here's a jalapeno plant. Not as productive as it was last year, but it's got plenty on there for me. Another pepperoncini plant that sprouted up in the wild. Got 3 peppers on it. Got my basil that's gone to flower. This is all volunteer basil, didn't plant any of that. I got my chili pepper plant. A whole bunch of them turning red. I think I'll come out here and harvest those today. This has got to be, this is a very big plant. Ton of peppers. And another chili pepper plant. This one started a little later, but the peppers almost look a little healthier. Some nice 5-size peppers on there. So that'll start turning red soon. The Hungarian hot wax, which got knocked over. Something broke, I think the deer got it, knocked it, split it in half. Another jalapeno plant, doing very well. Plenty of nice peppers on there. Another mini bell pepper. Got plenty of mini bell peppers on this one. This one's a big bell pepper. It actually has like 5 of them growing down in there. I'd be doing better if this tomato plant wasn't all over it. And I've neglected the garden too much this year. And as you can see, I just got a sea of tomato plants and grass growing in here. This Rocotillo plant's done really well. It's got a lot of peppers underneath. Hard to see them from the outside, but this is a neat little pepper. It's got like a patty pan shape to it. Has the habanero flavor without the habanero heat. So it's a neat little plant. I still got some cilantro plants in here with the seeds, so I'm sure plenty of cilantro will pop up next year. There's another jalapeno plant. And see, I got plenty of jalapenos. More than I need. I've given plenty of those away. Another mini bell pepper. Nice looking one. Starting to put on a lot of peppers. So, should be eating bell peppers soon. Let's see. Here's a Kellogg's breakfast, and I'm not sure if this is blight or not. I think Babette said you should look for the black stalks on hers, or on the tomato plant, and I don't see that, so maybe it is just the watering that's bad. But I don't know. I haven't been taking care of it, so that's probably the biggest problem. Let's see. Nice tomato growing under there. And just if you dig, you find tomatoes. But I just haven't gotten out to harvest them. Really haven't even had time to eat them, which is depressing. I got a nice bell pepper plant here I picked one off of, and no new ones have set until now. And I wonder if there's just too much grass that it's battling down here. And I'm surprised that one's not doing better. And the same with this one. Like it does have one growing back here. It's almost ready. Actually a nice looking one. Got my green onion. I should probably be eating those soon. Not sure how much longer they'll last. This was a bell pepper. It has no bell peppers on it. And my habanero plant, my favorite hot pepper. It's got enough peppers on there. As those are, you don't need that many. Okay, a cherry tomato plant, which has a ton of cherry tomatoes. I'm just not eating them fast enough, so I'm really not even harvesting them. And the morning glory that I was letting grow, you can see, is all over. I'm sure it didn't help the growth of this plant, so next year I'll have to make sure that doesn't happen. Tomato plant here that's falling apart. It has a lot of tomatoes on it still, so hopefully I can get those off today. Another cherry tomato plant here. Tomato plant, yeah, my tomatoes are getting attacked by something. I don't know if they're splitting with the rain, something's getting here and eating them, but this needs to be cleaned up. As you can see, I just got grass growing all over in here. And the birds are actually loving the seeds off of this, whatever it is. But the sparrows will come and eat that every morning. So I'm sure this could be a lot more productive if I would take care of the garden. Nice tomato there. Some more lettuce here. I don't know why I let so many go to seed, but I do. Some tomatoes growing down here. There's it's a mess down here. Nothing really going on over here. Random tomato plants. And my garlic, which I'm pretty sure I should probably harvest this. It's all turning brown, and the majority of them. I mean, a couple of these look like they could use a little more time. Then a lot of them just look like they're done, so I might just dig those all up today too. See what I got. And these are my peppers for my pepper experiment. I'm going to dig up a plant in the garden, maybe the orange habanero, and try to graft branches onto it from these peppers. So anyway, that's a look at my garden. As you can see, if you don't take care of your garden, it can just be a mess. So my plan is to dig all this up. I might even take the tomato plants up soon, I'm not sure. And then I'm going to till it all up, and this fall put a bunch of leaves on it. Last year I had 17 cubic yards of leaves I put on it. Was that 2 years ago? And it worked wonders, so I think I'll do that again. Then just not grow as many tomatoes. I can't eat this many tomatoes, so I think potatoes next year, some different squash. See what happens. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or would like to see more of anything, let me know. Any comments or suggestions be appreciated, and be sure to click the like button. Thanks.